What's up everybody, my name is Kyle, and today I'm going to review Marvel's What If. Directed by Brian Andrews, this series explores the multiverse in a fun animated style as it explores pivotal MCU moments, but puts an interesting twist on them. In many ways, this is kind of fitting, as this came out after the Loki series, from which the timeline branched off into different realities, with this series exploring some of those realities. I really enjoyed the narration style of the show, which comes courtesy of The Watcher, played by Jeffrey Wright. I like how as this series progressed, the Watcher became an involving and engaging character, rather than just being an entity that observed all the time. Favourite 3 episodes. My third favourite episode was What If Killmonger rescued Tony Stark. It was an absolute pleasure to have Michael B. Jordan back, voicing the menacing Killmonger. As per usual, Killmonger was double-crossing and backstabbing, but that's what you grow to expect. It's kind of what I like about the character. This iteration saw a different way that Killmonger found his way to Wakanda, as well as Tony Stark being saved by him instead of being attacked by terrorists in the desert, preventing Iron Man from ever happening. Of course, after all that, Tony Stark is then killed, again, by Killmonger. I feel like any chance they get, Marvel just love to show us Tony getting killed in various ways. They should probably just show an episode featuring a montage of different ways he dies. I liked this particular story as it shows Killmonger's greatest power, which is manipulation, getting him to where he wants, the throne of Wakanda. I also liked T'Challa's words at the end of the episode, which foreshadows what happens to Killmonger in the finale. On to my second favourite episode, which was What If Ultron won. As episodes go, this one was intense, dark, and everything Ultron should have been in Age of Ultron. I don't think a Marvel villain has terrified me more than Ultron in this episode. Like, it was so powerful. In this reality, Ultron beats the Avengers and the majority of humanity as he decides to nuke the whole planet rather than destroy one city. I enjoyed how Black Widow and Hawkeye were the surviving characters and the ones we followed through the episode. Also, seeing Hawkeye's sacrifice was really sad, and a callback to Endgame when Natasha sacrificed herself. I loved how Ultron sliced Thanos in half with one blast of the Mind Stone. Like, that was totally unexpected, and something Vision should have done in Infinity War had he not been stabbed by Corvus Glaive. The Watcher's reaction to Ultron's awareness of the Watcher was absolutely crazy. Even he didn't expect any of this to happen. Certainly felt the tension of the Watcher trying to escape from this mega Ultron. I definitely liked the Watcher's involvement in this particular episode. The fight sequences he had with Ultron were epic, as well as seeing the different realities throughout the fighting. The fact that the Watcher had to assemble a heroic multiversal team just goes to show how powerful this version of Ultron was. And now, onto my favourite episode, which is What If T'Challa became Star-Lord. This episode was absolutely perfect, heartfelt, and one that put a huge smile on my face. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Hearing Chadwick Boseman's voice for the final time gave me chills. It was a lovely performance, and I like how they did this episode in memory of him. There's just something so positive about this whole episode. T'Challa being abducted instead of Peter Quill had a different impact on the galaxy. The Ravagers became like Robin Hood heroes instead of thieves. Thanos became good. Yeah, Thanos became good and didn't go through with his plan. That was totally unexpected, but interesting. I liked the whole heist element of the episode. It definitely had those Ant-Man vibes, and seeing the more powerful version of the Collector was pretty cool. It was pretty heartwarming and touching by the end of the episode, when T'Challa returns home to Wakanda and gets reunited with his father. And now, onto my least favourite episode of What If, which is What If Thor were an only child. After a second viewing, I did enjoy this episode a lot more in comparison to the first watch, but still for me, it's probably my least favourite. I feel like more than anything, it's the placement of this episode, which is sandwiched between 2 darker and intense episodes. Aside from the final part, which showed Ultron arriving to cause chaos, the whole episode would have worked if it was placed early on in the series. The light-hearted episodes seem to have been at the beginning of the season, and this one personally disrupts the serious and darker themes explored at the end of the season. Despite it being a goofy and silly episode, it had a couple of funny moments. The party aspect of Thor really shone through, and it seemed like the episode had some fun elements to it. I liked seeing Thor and Captain Marvel fighting. It's certainly something we've all wanted to see. It's not a terrible episode, but definitely one that felt misplaced and very goofy. But I suppose the show has to make things somewhat light-hearted throughout the series. The good points of this show: the voice acting, it was brilliant. Of course, some of our favourite Avengers were not voiced by the actual actors, but honestly, they were on par. It sounded almost identical. The 3D animated style was awesome. The colours, visual effects were terrific to see. The detail was fantastic, especially with seeing the different worlds. This show has endless possibilities and could be a long-running series. I can only imagine how much fun the creators of the show could have when coming up for ideas for the next season. The bad points of the show: in comparison to the other Marvel shows, I would admit that it's not a series where I look forward to wanting to know what happens each week. Certainly with the WandaVision series, with the abrupt endings, you're always hooked and wanted to know what happens next type of thing. And with this, it's more or less satisfactory. Okay, it's over. Cool. I think the audio of the episodes were fine for the most part, aside from the Thor episode. In some cases, I can understand it being there to break up the dark and serious stuff with a little bit of light-heartedness, but personally, I was perfectly fine with them getting darker. So in conclusion, I would give Marvel's What If a 7.75 out of 10. I thought the voice acting was brilliant, the art style and animation was amazing, and the whole concept of the show is very creative and interesting. But in comparison to the other shows, it doesn't have that anticipation for what's to come each week or next, but certainly something that's satisfactory. So comment down below what you thought of What If. What were your rankings of the episodes, favourite sequences, and what if scenarios can you think of for future episodes? Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!